everyone, welcome back. If you saw to the end of the last video, you heard about my hopeful intentions of traveling down to the infamous Southwest Desert State, Arizona, and the trip happened. Started out with an evening drive down through the plains of southern Colorado into New Mexico to make the next day a little shorter, and then passing through western New Mexico and into the eastern and then central portions of Arizona. It's a beautiful and extremely varied landscape, going from flat open plains to lands of massive canyons and cliff sides, the painted desert, into pine forests on the Mogollon Rim before finally dropping down into the famous Sonoran Desert. A beautiful, unique, and truly diverse ecosystem, which is characterized by the saguaro cactus. This time of year is more or less the end of the monsoon season down there, which brings in much needed moisture to the desert ecosystem, and coming down this hill you can see exactly what was waiting for us at the bottom. Alright, here we are coming down out of the superstitions, and right outside here, some of the first saguaros starting to show up. The iconic cactus of the Sonoran Desert. Takes them 50 years to produce the first arm, and they can live to be 200-300 years old or more. It's one thing to hear about the monsoons, another one to see one as you're approaching it, because our hotel was right there at the base of the mountains. It is something entirely else to actually experience one full force. I just missed that. Oh, so we got the Arizona monsoon sweeping down over here, dumping rain on the superstitions, and throwing up a mini haboob right over there from the front coming down. Look at that. Once that passes, hopefully herping will be good tonight in that area. We'll see. Before the downpour hit. It is an impressive wind. You can see out the window there. And the rain is only just starting to come down. But this is supposed to pass pretty quickly, and hopefully it'll calm afterward. We can go out and look for stuff after the rains. Fingers crossed we don't find a flash flood area. So right here at our hotel, we haven't even gone anywhere, and there's a huge Sonoran Desert toad hopping across the parking lot here. Look at this monster. There's hand for scale. My goodness, we haven't even gotten anywhere. That is the best species I was hoping to find, and I didn't even have to leave the hotel. Well, you can. I'm just getting some video of him first.
Cool.
Look at this monster. Yep, of the toads that I wanted to see that I knew lived in the area, this is one of the big ones, especially since I've only seen them once before. You can find that guy in the second to last New Mexico video with the gophers, mojaves, and king snakes. These guys are truly monsters compared to all the other toads that we have in North America. They can get to, there's often an average of 6+ inches long. They can exceed 8 inches in length, and that's from the snout to the vent. That doesn't include if you stretch out their back legs. They literally look like small bowling balls jumping across the road when they're moving around. And they start out fairly light colored with kind of spots and speckles on their backs, very pale kind of green or tannish colors, and then as they age that kind of fades into this dark maroon, greenish, brown coloration, and they develop really distinct big bumps and pustules across their back and sides, especially on their legs, and they have these really distinct long, very protruding parotid glands right behind their heads that produce some incredibly toxic poisons that they use to defend themselves. This is the toad that is famous for literally being able to kill small animals that mess with it, when most of the other toads that are in the US, they'll cause some frothing at the mouth, they'll cause some nausea, and that's about it. These guys will kill things if something tries to eat them. Just as a show, this guy in my hand, he is huge. Look at those big parotids. And as the monsoon dies out, the lovely view from our hotel room. The thunder booming in the background. And gigantic toads somewhere below. Alright, we've got our second herp of the night. This, I think, is... let me see. Oh, it's a little red spotted toad. So I've seen these guys once before down in Big Bend National Park, but haven't seen them since. And that was a much larger version. He's wanting to run away, so I'm having to keep my hand here so he doesn't bolt before I can get some video of him. Beautiful little toad, though. And trying to do the dangerous thing of crossing the road on a really curvy area. So hopefully we can keep him from doing that. As you'll see with upcoming specimens, this is actually a fairly common and variable species. Some of them have some really distinctive patterns on the sides and their legs. Others can look almost completely flat gray except for the little red dotty bumps all over their backs. They have these really distinct, very rounded parotid glands right behind their eyes near their heads, though. That's one thing you can use to identify them. And they're found throughout much of the southwestern U.S. into northern Mexico, supposedly from the southern part of even my state, Colorado, down in through New Mexico, Texas, Arizona, Nevada, and so on. And they like somewhat more moist areas than a few of the other desert toads, which are kind of more free-living, it seems. You'll find them in a lot in and around canyons, along streams and seepages, but otherwise they have a lot of the same behaviors as other toads, especially down in the southwest U.S. They'll find ephemeral pools to breed in that only last a few weeks, and so the tadpoles develop very quickly and become froglets or toadlets that leave those pools right as they start drying out. Alright, we got a different kind of friend up here. Yep, it's another red spotted. He's a little bigger, and he's off the road now, so. Alright, so we've got a second red spotted toad out here, slightly larger guy. We've got all sorts of little moths trying to get into the lights here. It's hard to see from an angle, but this guy's got some beautiful eyes. I'm going to try and get it from another angle for you guys on my phone. Oh yeah. Gorgeous. And adorable. But if the toads are out here, hopefully we'll find some of the stuff that likes to eat toads. Alright. Okay, dude, ready? Alright, dude, come here. We saw... Where is he at? There he is. A very large toad on the road. Oh, there he goes. Nobody's coming. Sir, do not leave yet. Oh, look at you. You look quite different from the others. You look more like the young one that I found. Hello. Alright, so we've got Sonoran green toad, or Sonoran desert toad, number 2. This one's a little lighter in color, a little younger than the other one. And he's trying to run away. Come here, hold on. Don't you? Just, there we go. Hi. Look at you. You still got a lot of your juvenile spotting, which they kind of lose when they get older. And he's a much paler color too, not that deep green the other one had. So that's cool. I'll get a couple of photos of him and then let him go back off the road where he was going here. This guy's actually a pretty good example of kind of a transitional appearance between the very, very light juvenile animals and the much darker kind of gray-green adults. So he's still got a lot of the spotting, but his colors is starting to flatten out a bit, and he's starting to look more like full adults. Got ourselves one of the Arizona blonde tarantula males moving out here. There he goes, just sitting there. Oh, just that. Got ourselves one of the Arizona blonde tarantula males moving out here. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Oh, and there he goes, just sitting there. Until that. Don't know what spooked him, but there he goes. Yeah, it's probably spider eyes. See something? No, it's probably spider eyes. Looks like there's a couple of roads that kind of lead out here. Yeah, so people come up here to shoot. Oh yeah, you are definitely different. What are you? Or not. Okay, we'll get you off the side of the road, dude. Go that way. He won't move fast. There he is. There he is. The first snake of the night, and finally a live western downback, it looks like. Look at you. Beautiful. Alright, we've got our first snake of the night, and one I've been wanting to see for a long time. There's a car coming. Here we go. on. So we got juvenile western diamondback here. We'll try and help him get across the road.
Let's get him across soon. Car's coming.
Alright, so we've moved him off the road so that we are not having to worry about traffic anymore. This is an absolutely beautiful little western diamondback rattlesnake, Rhodolus atrox. Now these guys are pretty easily confused with the Mojave rattlesnakes down here, which also have that classic coontail pattern on their tail. But some of the ways that you can tell the difference between these guys and Mojaves is Mojaves have narrower black bands on their tail, and the color of the body kind of blends into the band area. With western diamondbacks, there's a really abrupt change. And then on their head, Mojaves have larger scales between their ocular scales, the ridges above their eyes. Westerns have much smaller and more numerous scales there. And the stripe that comes down their face as well, that you can see on either side, the white line that starts right behind their eye, Westerns, it'll actually intersect kind of the back corner of the mouth. With Mojaves, it actually extends back to the back of the jaw, kind of behind the head. And Westerns will tend to have a more speckly pattern and often more distinct diamonds on their backs, whereas Mojaves can have really varied patterns. So this is one of the young of the year from this year, and he's had one shed so far. He's got his original button and then one extra rattle. So he's only just started to grow, but he's looking pretty healthy right now, so I'm betting he's had a few good meals. But we're gonna encourage him to keep moving off here once we've got a photo or two, and hopefully he won't encounter any other vehicles like he almost did just now, 3 or 4 that went by. God, that road was busy too. I think if I ever go back down to this area, I'll have to cruise that area during a weekday when people aren't constantly going up and coming back from the lakes that they spend a lot of recreational time on just above us on the road. And this species, widespread as it is, I'm kind of amazed I have not been able to encounter a live one up until this point. Because the western diamondback rattlesnake, a truly iconic species of the American Southwest, is found from extreme southeastern California up into the southern corner of Nevada, through much of the southern half of Arizona, most of New Mexico, and most of western and central Texas, up into Oklahoma, and maybe just touching Kansas and possibly Colorado, although records have never been confirmed there. This is a fairly large rattlesnake species. The adults average somewhere around 4 feet long. Rare individuals do get 5 to 6 feet, with the largest ever recorded just topping about barely over 7 feet long. Unfortunately, snakes of this size are rarely encountered anymore because, like a lot of other rattlesnakes, due to a lot of misunderstanding and people just not paying attention to what they're doing and where they're going, and also enjoying just persecuting animals that could potentially be dangerous because they don't understand them. These rattlesnakes have been persecuted for a very long time, and many populations have been in fairly steady decline, or the animals just don't get as big because, thanks to us and to the other animals that we bring in, like goats and pigs that destroy their habitat or destroy the rattlesnakes themselves, they don't live long enough to get that big anymore. Hopefully this guy might be an exception if he manages to survive, though. Just make sure you get off the road completely now. Okay? Up. Almost. In the bush. Let's go. Keep going that way, dude. Keep going that way. Come on. Keep going that way. You go that way. There you go. Good boy. We've got an adult western diamondback. He's moving out here. Look at you. That's a full-grown one. He's almost 4 feet. We'll see if he comes out in the open. So he's moving that way. Oh my god. Because I ended up being so far away from the main camera and not speaking very loudly because I didn't want to disturb this guy or anything else in the area, you won't be able to hear me very well. But this is a good time to just take a moment to appreciate the size and beauty of this animal, because we do not see diamondbacks of this size very often anywhere, let alone this close and in person.
Way around. Shiny eyes.
Well, you can probably...
Careful.
You'll also see frequently Mom here is seeing the glinting red shining off of its
Sees
eyes,
you.
and you'll see in some of my clips the very open pupils of the snake. Though diamondbacks do have vertically elliptical pupils, this is a good example
Look
that
at those
the
rattles.
ambient light controls how those
Look at
pupils are
those
actually
rattles.
shaped. They are not always slits, and so you
Oh.
cannot use
Oh,
pupil
can you see
shape to
those
tell whether a
rattles?
snake is venomous or not. Or even more so, whether a snake is dangerous or not. And we'll see another example of that later in this video. There's a beautiful pintail going on.
That's amazing.
So this is definitely one of the best things that we could have found after just a baby, and then also finding that dead one before this to make it up. This one also had a beautiful kind of pinkish color to some of the stripes on the sides of its face, and as you can see with it next to me in the background, this was a snake that probably pushed over 5 feet.
And you just moved a dead one off the road.
And this one's bigger than the dead one that I moved.
This one's really big.
This is a huge, actually,
Man,
I'm saying 4.5 feet as a conservative estimate.
that rat,
But
that tail, that is amazing.
he might very well actually push almost 5 feet here, which is about as big as they will typically get. This is an old snake, more likely than not. Absolutely gorgeous animal. Alright people, here he is. He sees me, so I'm not moving any closer. This is amazing, getting to see him in a spot where I don't have to worry about moving him off the road. He's just on the crawl. And if we look off this way, he goes all the way back over here. There's that big old rattle. That is a gorgeous snake. And he saw the car going by on the road, I think. Getting that tongue action, look at that. Beautiful. And we get to be able to just leave him here. We don't have to bother him at all. Just let him go where he wants to go. And I'll make this note again. This is a species that is often reported as being a very aggressive or highly defensive species, and certainly some individuals can be, but as you can see, quite obviously, as long as you are not harassing the animal, it's not going to make any sort of move to harass you either. They are perfectly happy to just go about their own business. This guy has not rattled once, because we have not approached him closely enough to make him actually feel threatened. He's aware of our presence, so he's frozen here, waiting to see what we'll do, but if we don't approach him any closer, he probably won't react any further than this. He'll stay silent, hoping we just kind of pass him by. If he doesn't feel threatened, he won't use his defenses. That is a gorgeous snake. And some still shots just so you guys can appreciate at your own pace if you would like some of these colors in these animals. This guy's a very pale kind of sandy color, especially fading out towards the back, which is pretty common in a lot of diamondbacks. They have a much more muted pattern than like their relatives, the Mojaves, do. But huge animal, you just don't see them very commonly at this size, especially anymore, so it was truly a treat to get and sit and just kind of hang out with this guy for a while. Alright, and here he goes. He doesn't feel threatened at all, so he's just going to keep on going. And you notice they hold that tail up off the ground as they crawl so that it doesn't make noise against things, so that they don't alert any predators or any of their prey as they come along. So he'll just poke around wherever he feels safe. Now we don't want him going back towards the road, so if he heads that way I will kind of nudge him off in that direction, but hopefully he will choose to just kind of stick to the brush where it's safe for him. You can see his head's bobbing back and forth. He's looking for a scent trail. He's on the hunt. Oops. Might have startled him again. You're okay, dude. Feel free. I'm going to follow and see if we can see him in the full open of the clearing here. Back off into the wild. Giant diamondback. Back off into the wild. Yeah, we got one of our giant brown desert millipedes out here again. Oh, he doesn't like that. These guys, with their first defense, if something touches them, is they'll curl up. Hey, you. Oh, he did smell something on my hand he doesn't like. These guys, they're herbivores, so they're harmless to people. And this is about as big as you'll find a millipede getting to in our present time. About 4 or 5 inches long. One of their other defenses, though, if something really keeps bothering them, is they will actually spray hydrogen cyanide as a defense, which tastes really caustic and bitter, and of course if you were to get a lot of it, it could kill you. But these guys probably wouldn't produce enough to actually harm a person very long. You might be a little sick for a bit. He's heading for a little rodent burrow that's over here too. Looking for food because it's humid out here, so we'll let him be on his way. There we go. Whee! And away he goes. That's a good sized one. I'm also going to get video for the TikTok followers since that needs a slightly different format, but you can see really well here. Let's start this. Why these guys are called the desert tarantulas, but also the Arizona blonde, because they've got that brown blonde look. And the females are actually lighter colored than the males, in addition to having much bigger abdomens and shorter legs, so it stands out more with them. These guys are pretty inoffensive. They want absolutely nothing to do with people.
I'm going to show size.
Yeah, so you can see next to my hand there. And if I touch him, there he goes, off into the bush to hide. Because they don't want anything to do with people. Or anything else, because they think, well, they're going to get eaten. And they also won't bite unless they feel cornered and have no other way to get out.
Nope.
It's cute. And he's moving. What are you? You were tiny. Hi, it's a desert night snake. Come here. Hi. Okay. Whoops. And he's moving. Hold on. Let's calm down, dude. You're okay. Hi. Look at you.
Okay, let's come back over here.
Alright, so this is Hypsiglena chlorophaea, the desert night snake. There's a few different species recognized now, and this one stretches from the Sonoran Desert all the way up into Idaho. Now these guys are part of the Dipsadidae family, formerly in the Colubridae, until people did some genetic studies and figured out these are not at all related to colubrids. They are a mildly rear-fanged venomous snake species, but the venom is both not able to do anything to people really, and as you can see, these guys, they don't bite. So they're entirely harmless to people. Now they do get a little bit bigger than this. Of course, this is a fairly young one, maybe born last year. So they'll get up to 18, 20 inches long or so, maybe 2 feet as a really big one. But really glad we found this guy out here, and I didn't hit him because he was booking it across the road. So we'll get a couple of photos, and then we'll release him off in the direction that he was going. A common snake in desert and southern grassland environments. These guys really liked somewhat rocky areas, especially because they like to hide in the cracks. Otherwise, they'll sometimes burrow to get away from the heat of the day, and those are also the places where they'll hunt for their food, which is often small lizards or small rodents. Sometimes they'll take large insects, and these guys, you'll notice, have that vertically elliptical pupil as well, the slit eyes, but they're harmless to people, so that claim that slit pupils means dangerous to humans is entirely false. And this is a great example, because even if one did bite you, nothing would really happen unless you're the 1 in a million person who has an allergy to this particular venom. Alright, so we got this little guy now. Got some photos. We'll put him up here way away from the road. There you go, little one. Run, run. Off he goes. Alright, folks. We are back at the hotel at 1 in the morning Arizona time. And I am here with not the Sonoran Desert toad friend that we started the day with, but another individual in the same area. Beer bottle for scale. Anyway, I think this will probably be the last little guy that we'll be showing you. So I hope you enjoyed tonight. It was pretty decent. 2 rattlesnakes and a night snake, and the rattlesnakes being on both ends of the size spectrum as dramatically as we could possibly get. And I'll certainly probably be sharing other videos and clips of them as well on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So if you want to see more of photos and such, and see what else is coming up, follow there. I've got a couple more nights here in Arizona as well, so hopefully a few more videos will be coming out. And if you'd like to help support further educational videos, trips that I can make to other areas of this and other states, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/hcarlton. You can also help out by donating at coffee.com/carltoncarnivores if a monthly subscription doesn't work out for you. And you can also always find other ways through the shop and merchandise sites that are tagged through the website carltoncarnivores.com. All the information will be in the description below the video. If you have any comments or questions, make sure to leave them below. But until next time, I'm Hawken Carlton, and this is Carlton Carnivores.